Servers work hard. They also have tales. Welcome to this episode of Tales from Your Server. Our first tale is from Umbrella Boy. I work in an upscale casual chain with a small, corporate chef-designed menu. We're the smallest location of our restaurant in the city, and as such, we have a much smaller kitchen than any of the other locations. I had a 4-top today, and they were nice at first, but it became clear they were going to be my nightmare pretty quickly. These women had come in to celebrate 3 recent birthdays in the group, and brought a cake. The issue we ran into was dietary restrictions. All 4 of the ladies at this table were Muslim, and while they were able to compromise on the food not being certified halal, they of course couldn't eat pork. No problem. We accommodate restrictions all the time, despite it being tricky with how small the menu is. I warned them immediately that anything on the menu that is deep fried would have cross-contamination with pork because we only have 2 deep fryers in our small kitchen. To which they asked several times, "But the fries are okay, right?" No, they are not. We went in circles about this, and I went as far as to make a list of any items we could serve or modify that would have no pork, pork ingredients, or pork contamination. They again ask about the fries. One of these ladies, who was clearly the queen bitch among her friends, tried to outsmart me by asking how we remedy this for vegans and vegetarians. And the answer is simple. We tell them the exact same thing. We don't have any designated fryers for dietary restrictions. Each guest can make the choice for themselves whether or not they're okay with cross-contamination, and we go from there. This turned into another 5 minutes of talking in circles. Queen Bitch then asks me if we can just change the oil. No, we cannot do that. Why not, Miss Server? Because, for starters, the oil was changed this morning, and there's no way anyone is dumping gallons of clean oil for 4 people. And also the fact that it would take multiple lifetimes to let the oil cool, drain it, wash it, replace the oil, and let it come back to temp. This seemed to be lost on her as she rolled her eyes over and over. I wonder if at any point she saw a brain back there. One of these women in particular was not entirely rude, but she didn't seem to entirely understand the fryer had pork cooked in it. I spoke to the kitchen and manager and compiled a list of items we could accommodate her with. She wanted fries. She also supposedly had a gluten and dairy allergy, but had no issue picking off her friends' plates after I explicitly warned her the dishes had gluten and dairy. I think she was mostly content to sulk. I have to imagine the dairy and gluten restrictions were a lie, because she seemed to enjoy the cake they brought in, which was very clearly labeled with gluten and dairy ingredients. What a blessed first day back after having COVID. I feel like these kind of people, these groups that just go in and have all of these restrictions, especially if they go into a small place, I feel like they're just looking for trouble, or looking to get a free meal, or just to cause drama, because most sane people, they know what kind of restrictions they have in terms of food. They try to do a little bit of research beforehand. This next tale is by Bright Expert. So, long story short, I've been with this company for 1 month. The corporate chain's general manager accepted a double that I picked up for NYE, closing the bar. When I got to work, they had gotten that section covered and messed up the schedule for the front of house closing. I brought it up to find out if I was still closing and was told that they made a mistake and that if the server in the front of house serving section didn't want to close, that I could have it. When that server arrived, she didn't want it, and suddenly I was told I was closing front of house. I told them that my schedule said I was closing bar and that the mistake wasn't mine to fix. It was covered. I made the plans because I was told I may close if I wanted to. Another manager then told me that I wasn't strong enough to serve the bar section. I've been both front and back of house, 6 years total, and then threatened me in front of guests and other employees, saying I didn't want to get into what my work-related issues were. Mind you, the company does a 1-week review process after being on the floor, and I never received mine. I was then told at the peak of dinner shift to go home. When I went to the front of house manager about whatever issues, she was vague and said that I'm still making mistakes. She said that I was still on the schedule, but as soon as I exited the parking lot, I got the notification that my schedule was reduced to 9.5 hours for the following week. I filed a report with HR about the aggressive and ineffective nature of management and the retaliation. I have 3 interviews this next coming week, because what the actual fuck? I'm turning in my company shirts today. How a company can even manage to run when it seems like the management is so ineffective and they don't even know how to schedule people properly is just beyond me, but I guess they're easily able to go through people in this case, and maybe a lot of their employees are just really short term. And our final tale is from Specialist Budget. On Saturday, I served a table where a customer showed me a card from her doctor saying that she'd had bariatric surgery and that she needed to be allowed to order from the kids menu. I've seen this before and have never gotten any pushback about it. It's obvious. Help the customer. When the check was taken to the register, the cashier was like, "Why did you sell her the kids portion? You know you're not supposed to do that." I mentioned the card and how people with that surgery physically can't eat the regular portion. She asked if my manager had told me to do that. She wasn't there. I repeated myself and was told, "That's not our problem." I don't understand why she would say something like that. Isn't our job to serve the customer? Yes, I know we don't make money off kids' meals, but this was a special case and it's not like these surgeries are unheard of. What would you have thought or done? This just seemed unnecessary and rude. The customer heard this, by the way. She had come up behind us coming from the bathroom, and my manager has had such a procedure, so she would probably understand. I mean, considering they're a cashier, I have to question what job it is of theirs to really question what kind of medical issues any of the customers might have. Their job is simple. Somebody brings them the check, they take care of dealing with the check. That's their job, not to play Sherlock Holmes in a restaurant. Alright, that's enough tales for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Tales from Your Server. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.